Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sienna here with a brand new video. Today we're going to go over 6 ways to cleanse your tarot deck and a few instances where you will definitely want to do this. So don't miss out on this one, stick around. Like most physical objects, your tarot deck can collect residual energy over time and with a lot of use. Sometimes it's nice to just cleanse and reset the energy of your deck and your other divination tools, but today we're just going to go over the tarot deck. So the first method that we're going to talk about today is using crystals. Put the crystal of your choice on top of your tarot deck and let it sit for a while. Personally, I like to let mine sit overnight, but you can set it there for even just an hour if that's all you have time for. You can leave your deck and crystal to sit, like I said, overnight under maybe some moonlight, depending on what phase of the moon, if moon kind of magic is something that resonates with you. Some people like to leave it in the window in the sun. But there's a big warning here. Be really careful which crystal you use if you're going to do this. Because for example, amethyst will fade in the sun and it will damage that crystal. You don't need a very big crystal, just whatever you happen to have on hand. The second way that you can cleanse your tarot deck is by smudging. And now that's a practice that has been around forever. It's a very, very old practice. Sage is a popular herb used for smudging, and that is probably the herb that first comes to mind when you hear that word smudging. But if you don't have sage on hand, or you're allergic to it, or you just don't like the smell or whatever, don't worry, just use any other kind of herb. Like for example, I like using eucalyptus, I use Palo Santo, and most of the time I smudge things with cinnamon. Simply light the herb or the wood that you wish to use and gently wave it over your deck. Being, of course, very, very careful when working with hot, lit objects. The third thing you can do is to actually knock on your deck. It's a very old practice, but it works. It's a very quick and easy way to clear the energy of your deck in between readings or in between clients, especially when you don't have a lot of time to spare. Putting a physical touch while setting the intention to clear the energy of your cards is a really good way to strengthen that intent. The next thing you can do, which is just as easy as knocking on your deck, is shuffling it out. Shuffling the energy out of your deck is another very quick, effective way to clear your cards of any leftover residual energy, especially in between readings, especially in between clients. And really, if you're a tarot reader, you will be shuffling your deck anyways, or at least you should be definitely shuffling your deck. So all you got to do is, while you're shuffling, try not to drop any on the floor like I almost did. While you're shuffling, just visualize the old energy lifting up and wafting away, drifting away. I like to think of it as when you very quickly turn the pages in an old book and all the dust flies up. I like to visualize something like that. You can easily combine this method, shuffling, with knocking. Shuffle, knock, good to go. The next thing that you can do to cleanse the energy of your tarot deck is to light a candle. You can light your candle, any candle will do. It doesn't have to be a specific color or size. I often use a tea light. Sometimes in a pinch, I will use a birthday candle. Light it, set your cards next to it, and let them sit there for just a couple minutes. Or you can actually pass your cards very carefully because, these are paper and we want to be careful when we have paper or cardstock around an open flame. Very, very carefully pass it over the flame just a couple of times, setting the intention that it's burning away that old residual energy. The sixth thing you can do to cleanse the energy of your cards is by using Reiki. If you already have the Reiki training, any level, you will have learned a few different symbols that you can draw or visualize. So what I like to do is to draw the symbol Shokure, place the power of the universe here, concentrate it here, and I like to draw that over my cards. This method can be combined with shuffling and some Reiki. It can be combined with knocking and some Reiki. I often draw Shokure and then knock on the deck. And now I did say we were going to talk about this at the beginning of the video. There are 5 times where you will for sure want to cleanse your tarot deck. So the first instance here is after a particularly heavy reading. So that could be a reading on something like really upsetting or really emotionally difficult. It could be emotionally heavy. It could be like something kind of negative. If you do political readings, I highly encourage you to cleanse your deck after each reading, because there is some really heavy energy and really just dense negativity that can stick around after a reading on certain people in, well, various world governments. The second instance where you will want to cleanse your deck is after using them for a medium reading. Now, this doesn't mean that if you use your deck for a medium reading, all of a sudden your cards are haunted. As funny as that might sound, it's not really what happens, but I actually do this just as a protective measure. After doing a medium reading for somebody, I cleanse the cards and it just solidifies my intention to close communication with that person. It just shows myself and it shows them on the other side, we're all done. It's like hanging up the phone. It's like, thank you for giving me your messages. Thank you for letting me speak with you. Thanks for coming in, but now it's done. And you can go back to wherever you were. You may also want to cleanse your deck after somebody else has used your cards. Now, maybe not everybody agrees with this, but I really recommend cleansing your cards after someone else has touched them. It doesn't mean that they've wrecked your cards or they've tainted them or anything like that, but there is a chance that your deck picked up on energy that other person was carrying. And if you don't want that to affect you or your own energy or, your readings and the way that you do your work here, just cleanse your cards. Just easy protective measure. The fourth instance where you're going to want to cleanse your deck is before reading with a new deck. And when I say new, that can mean brand new from the store, or it could mean new to you as in secondhand. Because there will be leftover residual energy if you receive a deck secondhand and that person did not cleanse the deck prior to giving it to you. Sometimes it's just nice to cleanse it and just sort of have your own energetic imprint in it and make it yours. And sometimes with a brand new deck, there may be some residual energy hanging around from the manufacturer or from the warehouse or from the store where your cards have been sitting for who knows how long. With who knows how many people, especially if it's in a store, how many people touching even just the box, but touching the cards. Maybe you bought like a sampler deck or something, you never know, right? You never know who's been handling them and what the energy around them was like. So it's always a good practice to just cleanse the deck, make it yours energetically before using a brand new one or a secondhand one. The fifth instance where you're going to want to cleanse your deck is if you haven't used your cards in a while. It's just to sort of clear out the cobwebs, so to speak. just to get the energy flowing back through and around the deck once again. Get it used to being used again after maybe sitting on your shelf, or in my case, I have a big box on the floor here, a big Rubbermaid thing full of decks. So those are 6 ways to cleanse your tarot deck and 5 instances where you should totally do it. So was this helpful to you? Let me and others know in the comments. What methods do you use to cleanse your tarot deck? Because there are way more than what I described in this quick little video. So I'd love to hear from you what you think, what you personally like to do for your cards. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to Santa Rose Metaphysical, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!